Great, so setting up the TPro for wedge play. So again, with wedge play, posture is also really critical. So utilizing the TPro to have scap connection, and mainly from my point of view to create really good hip pelvis bend or hip bend, so then we don't create the rounding out through the upper body, which is going to restrict the rotation or the pivot through the thorax. So Ash is going to place the handles through, same as we did with the putting, and we're going to externally rotate. So we're going to set the palms facing upwards and then just create a really nice hip bend down into a setup position and let the arms then just hang down naturally together, and we can then take the setup position from there with the wedge. Ash is now going to have great freedom of movement through the thorax and through the lower body to create a small pivot for the wedge play. So common faults we see with wedge play is too much handle dragging or early releasing, which can be a byproduct of posture at setup and then body control or body pivot through the shot. So if Ash walks into a setup position and we have, for a term, an unstable position through the upper body, the potential for Ash to then have dysfunction through pivot and have too much handle dragging where the lead edge can interact with the turf is a high possibility. On the contrary to that, Ash might pivot back, not pivot enough through, and actually scoop or flip the handle through impact, creating a thin contact. So what we're going to see, or what we're going to try to achieve with Ash, is we're going to get neutral posture. And now the big deal is we're going to try to keep that thorax pivoting through the shot toward the target. So the body and the arms keep moving together, the bounce interacts well with the turf, and the ball flight's going to come out high and soft. So a function of the TPro that we use a lot is to actually assist the player in feeling radius control. So using the bands for sensory feedback, if Ash was to pivot from the thorax and the arms together and stay connected, we're going to feel like we can maintain the radius control through the backswing. On the contrary to that, if we're at setup position again, Ash, and we feel like the thorax doesn't move a lot and the left arm moves across the rib cage, we're going to feel like we get really narrow through the backswing, so we lose that radius of the swing length. So if we go back to the start, Ash, what we're going to do is going to feel like the arms and the upper body maintain their radius, maintain their pivot all the way through backswing and through swing. Really good. So when Ash is finished, we've got the bands giving feedback of the radius through the follow through, balance points on the lead side, chest is pointing at the target. Okay, so we're moving into specialty shots, whether it be high shots or low shots or controlling the ball flight. I always like to think we have to earn the right to hit those shots. So by Ash working through the posture control and the pivot control through the stock shot, she's now earned the right to actually go and experiment with the high shot and the low shot. So using the TPro to actually assist with the high shot, we're trying to probably create a little bit more face rotation through the backswing. So a way of doing this is we can do an over-under drill. So we're going to play the band over top of the lead arm and onto the thumb, and underneath the trail arm and onto the thumb. So when Ash holds her hands out in front of herself, the bands are actually applying a pressure that's actually going to encourage the trail arm to move into more supination through the backswing. So if we take the grip now, Ash, we're just going to rehearse that to start with. So you're going to create your same pivot as you did for the stock shot, but using the feedback of the band, you'll feel like the face starts to work a little more open, and then work your pivot through the shot to control the loft on the golf club.